So I decided to take this chance to create an assignment that was more my speed. So this is going to be a special report on food allergies in the classroom because I am going to be a teacher and my son, who is almost 2, does have food allergies. So this is kind of to inform myself what I need to know as a teacher legally, and then also what I need to know in helping communicate with his teachers and that sort of thing. So, if you don't know what a food allergy is, it's essentially when the child's body overreacts to the food you put in it. It treats the food protein almost as like a bacteria or a virus and tries to fight it off. Um, and usually the common symptoms of that are like the hives and the itching and passing out sometimes, throat closing up, those sort of things. And it can kill kids. There are actually way too many stories of kids who have been fed something they're allergic to in schools and have died because their throat closed up, which is not okay. So there's also a different type of allergy called FPIES, which instead of the body reacting with the IgE antibody, which presents in like the rash and stuff, it's more of an immune reaction, and so the body will have like profuse vomiting and diarrhea and that sort of thing, and can lead to shock from dehydration, and kids can die if they don't get hydrated quickly enough. So this is the type that my son has, whereas normal allergies are about 8% of kids. This is only about 1% of kids. So it's significantly less. It's less prevalent in our classrooms, but it is something to be aware of. So in regards to the legal aspect of it, all kids with food allergies are entitled to ECPs and IHCPs, which stand for Emergency Care Plan and Individualized Health Care Plan. So an emergency care plan, sorry, he's sleeping, so I keep checking on him. An emergency care plan is essentially a note to the nurse. It is not legally binding. The allergist will write it up and essentially just writes like what the child's allergic to and what to do if they have a reaction, how to call 911, how to administer an EpiPen, that sort of thing. It's not legally binding, but it does have to be written and signed by the allergist, and it's just to the school nurse. If you want a letter that's going to go to administration and the teachers, that is an IHCP. That's an individualized healthcare plan. So that is also not legally binding, but it's usually it includes the ECP, so it'll include what they're allergic to and what to do if they have a reaction, but it also says what they're going to do to avoid the child coming in contact with their allergen in the school. And this will go to not only the child's teacher, but also the specials teachers like art and PE and that sort of thing. And then it's the administration, like the principal and stuff, has it too. So it's more widely informing, I guess. What else? Okay, 504s. So both of those, the ECP and IHCP, those are not legally binding. And you don't have to have a life-threatening version of the allergy to have them. Like if you just get a rash and stuff, like you can still get an ECP or an IHCP. But in order to be granted a 504, the parents and the child have to apply to the school district. Usually they'll have a specific person who deals with 504s in the district. And you have to have all these letters from doctors and all these tests run, and it's a big deal. And you apply and you say, I think that my child needs a 504 plan, which is under the Rehabilitation Act. It pretty much says that like they have to make sure that they're accommodated, because a food allergy does qualify as a disability because it is interfering with the definition of a disability under the ADA is interfering with one or more life event. I believe those were the words. And so eating is obviously a major life event. So food allergies do qualify as a disability, which is why they fall under that 504 section of the Disability Act. So 1973, I believe it was. So 504s. They are legally binding, so the teacher needs to be aware of what's in the 504, and pretty much the teacher will sit down with the 504 person and the parents and administration, and it's a big deal. And they come together. Usually the allergist will come in too, and they put together a plan for what to do. Usually it involves the parents having to be notified if allergens are going to be in the classroom and given time to present an alternative for their kids. Like if other kids are bringing in cupcakes for their birthday and your child's allergic to eggs, eggs are in pretty much every cupcake ever. So that would not be good for your child to eat that. And you need to be given the time to send them with an alternative to school. It also says what to do if the child comes in contact with an allergen, and whereas with the ECP and the IHCP it's not legally binding, with the 504, if you fail to comply to what is written out in the 504, you can be taken to court and you can have legal repercussions for that. So the difference between the ECP and the IHCP versus the 504 is, in order to qualify for the 504, you have to apply for it and you have to be granted it. Your allergy has to be severe or life-threatening, usually, to be granted a 504. But the ECP and IHCP, like anyone with a food allergy can have. So if your child does have a life-threatening food allergy, it's much better to get the 504 in place because they take it more seriously, because it is legally binding. But if your child's food allergy is not life-threatening, then the other two are pretty much the best you're going to get usually. So also bullying in regards to food allergies is a big issue in the classroom. It is something to be concerned about, especially as a teacher, because if you think back to Maslow's hierarchy, the kids cannot really be learning your materials unless all of those safety needs and physiological needs and stuff are met. So they really have to feel safe in your classroom in order to focus on your curriculum and understand what's going on, what you're trying to teach them. So it's important to stay on top of it and to make sure that students are being respected. And it's a really easy way to handle this is at the beginning of the year, while you're doing, classroom team building activities and such, have like an open discussion as a class about what food allergies are, how they can be really scary, and why they're so serious. And a lot of times this will help the students to ask their questions and start to understand the children with food allergies better. So I'm going to go ahead and link some sources if you want to see them. If you want to do more research on it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I will do my best to find research for them. So yeah, this is a topic that I was just really interested in. I wanted to bring a little more awareness to and help educate some parents whose kids might have food allergies since they are so common. So yeah, and you never know, even if you don't have kids now, your kids one day could have food allergies. They're ridiculously common now. It's not fun, but it's a fact of life. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for sitting through this kind of long video.